Hello and welcome to a quite sombre Off Track. I'm your host, Dave Neal, and this week we start by sending our sincere condolences and love to the family, friends and team of Chrissy Rouse, my fellow podcast OG, who sadly lost his biggest battle on Thursday after an incident at Donington Park. At the end of this week's chat, I've added my thoughts about the passing of our great mate. This week my guest is Rich Energy OMG Racing Yamaha's Kyle Ryde. In true off-track style, the news of Kyle's re-signing with the team broke on Saturday morning, as if the team's poor beleaguered press officer wasn't busy enough. But as the show was recorded on Thursday afternoon, we didn't get to discuss that in depth. Just typical, really, for Off Track. Remember to like, share, save, subscribe, tell your friends, and this week, please make sure you listen to the very end of the show. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Ryde. Hello and welcome to Off Track. I'm your host, Dave Neal, and we're sat in the Rich Club at Donington Park. It's the home race track of Rich Energy OMG Racing Yamaha's Kyle Ryde. So why not have Kyle Ryde on the show? Kyle, welcome back, mate.
Afternoon, Dave.
How are you?
I'm good.
Excellent. Home circuit, how are we fixed for this weekend? How are you feeling after, some good successes over the last couple of rounds? Everything sort of heading back in the right direction again?
Just feeling quite lucky to be here, to be honest. Sat with you on the Thursday. I went to see one of my good friends, Taz, last night, and obviously, as we all know, last person that should have happened to is Taz, poor lad, after everything he's been through this year. So like I said, I'm feeling very lucky just to be here, to be able to talk to you and thinking about riding my bike tomorrow. So can't wait.
We had some good success here earlier in the year. First win of the season.
I
wasn't going to say that. It's the first win of the season because we've still got 6 races left yet.
Yeah.
But okay, so let's
only win up to now.
It's your only win up to now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that weekend. What was that like for you? Home round, first win in the black, gold and blue.
Yeah, it was just meant to be. That's all it was. Obviously, Silverstone. I was in a position where I could have won the first 2 races, and I just thought the bigger picture. I thought we're miles away from getting in the Showdown and this, that and the other. Looking back at it now, I put 90% of the grid in my position and they wouldn't have looked left. So just experience. I've only been in it a few seasons, and I know people like Glenn Irwin, the last people that you want to be ruffling feathers in the first meeting, because there's a big band of them that can come up the inside of you in the next race. So I still to this day don't regret what I did. It was a good decision, 2 second places, and obviously the arm pump kicked in for the last race, and then obviously we went to Oulton Park and I finished 3rd and 4th, and then the arm pump kicked in again. So we got it fixed coming to Donington. I was a little bit nervous, hoping it was going to be all right, and everything went smoothly. Saturday, we beat everyone, so it was a good day.
I think what we need for this weekend, we need a bit more green pop. What do you reckon?
Well, unless you want to cut my other arm open and try and fix it.
For anybody that doesn't know about the green pop, check out our TikTok channel, Rich Energy's TikTok channel. That'll explain the green pop while we're out at the Northwest 200. And Lee Johnston's wellies, as a matter of fact, for that.
That should not be on the internet, that's a fact.
That's what your press office is there for, mate.
Yes.
He does things like that. You took the GoPro.
I know.
No, Brad took the GoPro.
I know, yeah. Still, we should have turned it off.
I can take it down, I don't mind.
No, it's fine, it's too late.
Talk to us about the season so far. I spoke to Brad earlier on, and I remember distinctly being out at Cartagena the day you threw the leg over the R1 for the first time. And after a real difficult roller coaster season on the BMW in 2021, to go to Cartagena and get on the R1 for the first time, what was it like for you?
Yeah, it was just a bit of breath of fresh air, really. Just with not even lap time wise, that was not too great on the first day. If anything, I was a little bit worried. I'm like, the bike feels good, but the lap time's pretty pants, to be honest. But the feeling was really good, and obviously, when a bike does what you want it to do, and it was just amazing, really. The bike did what you wanted it to do, the speed you wanted to go at, it did. And every time you got a bit more confident, the bike let you do what you want, just do what you want to do. So it was just, when we finished that test, obviously Brad broke the lap record, everything was just positive, so we just couldn't really wait to get back obviously to the UK and do a bit of testing. And as you know, when we went to Silverstone and stuff, it was almost like we couldn't do anything wrong, which is always a nice feeling.
You spent a number of seasons on an R6. You did it in juniors, in what was Stock 6.
Yeah, Stock 6, Super Sport.
Super Sport as
World
well.
Super Sport.
And World Super Sport. So you know what an R6 feels like. What was it like getting onto the R1? Did it kind of feel like coming home almost?
Not really. The only thing that reminded me of it was obviously riding Alan's bike, which is obviously an R6, and I did a few track days on that last year when I was feeling really low. And obviously, bike racers will relate who listen to this. You do 6 months of not getting a good result and struggling and changing bike setup. You actually forget. You think that you forgot how to ride a bike, and that's it. But yeah, I did the brave boy thing and rang Alan and said, look, can I borrow your bike and have a little play on it? And yeah, I rode around Cadwell on it, and it brought a smile back on my face. And we come here, even though it was raining, but we come here 2 days later and I finished on the podium in the wet. So yeah, it's just nice being able to ride a bike where it does something that you want. So yeah, obviously the R1's definitely like that. I can't relate the R1 in 2022 to 2016. It's too much of a difference, and obviously I've rode a lot of bikes in between that, including a Suzuki and a BMW, so it's very difficult to compare. But yeah, riding Alan's R6 definitely felt very similar, except obviously it's got an extra 100 horsepower or something stupid. So yeah, definitely was a bonus riding Alan's bike.
The good thing as well for you, for your superbike career, you've podiumed every manufacturer you've ridden for, and you've won with 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
Which, at times last season, did you doubt yourself?
Oh yeah, all year. It was only like when we come here. Obviously, I finished on the podium on the Sunday in the wet, but on the Saturday, even in qualifying, I think I qualified 6th in the dry. To me, on that bike, was a real achievement for me anyway, because I felt so rubbish all year. And it's just mad how things change. Obviously, you go through winter this year, different bike, knowing that we're going to be on different bikes, do even more training, stuff like that, and you turn up and it's so easy to... And all I'm doing is the same as I did last year. Last year I was riding the same as what I am now, except now, day in, day out, a top 5's like... the odds are 1 to 1, do you know what I mean? Where last year it'd be like 10 to 1 to get in the top 5, so very soul destroying when something's just quite not clicking. So obviously every rider goes through it. Even, I mean, look at the speed Brad's been at the last couple of meetings, and even Brad last year didn't even make the Showdown. So it's an obvious occurrence that bike maybe is good enough to win a championship, but it definitely didn't suit us pair, and obviously the Yamaha does.
It completely does. You both had great successes over the years on it. Going back to Oulton Park, not this one last weekend, but the original Oulton Park round, it's fair to say it wasn't, and probably still isn't, your most loved circuit. But one thing you did was sticking on the podium at Oulton Park at the start of the season, which for me watching that, for somewhere that isn't one of your favourites, was at the time probably one of your career highlights, apart from the wins at Silverstone with the Suzuki. Would that be fair?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously Oulton Park is a bit of a, not a bogey circuit, because obviously I've done there well in the past, but going there on the superbike I was definitely a bit nervous, because obviously I rode the Suzuki there and the BMW, and yeah, lap times wise wasn't too bad, but in a race scenario I was never great on either bike, so I was a bit worried about going there. But I think, for example, if my average position for the last 2 years was maybe a 12th there, I think on the Yamaha it would have been about 6th. But I've definitely done a lot more fitness training this year, so I think that's ramped it up a little bit as well, which has probably turned that Oulton Park into a 3rd and 4th that we have, which was, yeah, like you said, I was even impressed with myself.
Which takes a lot, I've found, over this year.
Impressing myself?
Yeah.
Your
standards are high.
The ninth place I just had at the last weekend, from basically last on the grid. I was pretty impressed with that. So, and obviously that was kind of my target. I thought if I get a good I was even thinking on my bike, it was funny, I thought I get a top 10 here, I can imagine Dave's little post saying what an amazing achievement from last on the grid. And that's the sort of stuff we think about while riding around. It's mental. And
I didn't let you down.
No. And I even got a single figure digit, whatever you call it.
Yeah, single digit finish.
Yeah.
Which, it's a tough place to overtake on.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt. And I think you have a lot of respect still riding a super bike. I think respect for the bike.
Yeah.
because they are big, they are powerful around Oulton Park. Everybody's the same, but it comes with experience, especially Oulton Park.
Yeah.
Cadwell's is a very similar scenario, and probably worse because it's narrower.
Yeah.
For you as a rider, how did you approach that Oulton Park weekend the first time?
What, at the start of the year? Or
Yeah, the start of the year.
I mean, I just come off winning here, and obviously I know I crashed the day after, but the confidence was still there. Obviously they fixed the bike, and I went and finished 5th. I was only like 4 seconds off the win after that, so the confidence was high. And yeah, when we turned up to Oulton Park, I didn't expect anything. I knew Brad was going to be fast. I knew a couple of the doers like Hickman that are big and strong, they was going to be fast, and yeah, I didn't even make it into Q2 on Friday, and we found something as a team, and yeah, I had a bit of a slipstream off Brad in qualifying. That bumped me up to, I'm not sure, like a 34.2, something like that. And then yeah, we set off for the race, and I was straight into the 33s, and it was a dream and easy to ride. It's just mad how that circuit works.
Were you pole? I can't remember.
I was pole.
You were pole, weren't you?
Yeah, it was wet.
Yeah, and mixed conditions.
Yeah,
I remember you were on, but
I was in the perfect place, perfect time. I was the last person across the line. I just made the most of it, and yeah, I think it's my only pole this year. I think. From qualifying, yeah. I've done a few fastest.
You've done a few fastest. Like you had pole here in the third race back in May
before I crashed. Yeah.
No,
it was.
Oh, you put the lap in.
The
sorry,
lap before.
Yeah, the lap before. Yeah,
that was pole.
And then it put you on pole and then finished 5th with a bike that was rebuilt inside 2 hours.
Yeah, was not too bad. Yeah,
it's not too shabby, is it? Not too shabby. And we had the same issue last weekend as well.
Well, yeah.
Where the bike was rebuilt in 20 minutes.
It was just a shame. If someone had told me, look, Kyle, there's only 16 people starting this race, because I think that's all that there was.
Something like that, yeah.
You've only got to just ride round and you might get 3 or 4 points, but at the same time I was so G'd up. I thought if I get a good start here, I can get on the back of the bunch, maybe get a top 10, and obviously I just was a little bit too giddy, a little bit too tight coming out of turn 1, and I sided, unfortunately. Brought Tom Neve down with me, but yeah, the boys obviously did an amazing job fixing the bike, making it feel like mine again for the last race, and yeah, I took my time first few laps as I should have done. I think that was the sensible thing to do, and yeah, just picked them off one by one and finished 9th, so it was a good result in the end.
Excellent result. But also when you look back at your superbike career, this is season number
3.
It is number 3, isn't it? So you think the COVID season was only 6 races?
Yeah, it was only half of, yeah.
We didn't race at Cadwell.
No.
So last season on the BMW was a tricky one.
Well, I broke my heel at Cadwell, so this was the first time I've ever rode at Cadwell.
I was coming to that. Yeah. Testing it. So people forget that you are still in the nicest part learning your trade.
Yeah.
Brad started 2017.
Yeah.
It's 3 seasons.
Yeah, it's double at least.
At least double of what you're doing. And I think a lot of people forget that. Because 19 you were GP2 champion, and this is only your 3rd season and 3rd manufacturer.
Yeah.
So having that consistency, it hasn't been there, has it? So you've been fighting.
Yeah, that's it. To this day, I still tell myself if I'd have stayed with Suzuki, which I had a chance to for last year, but for sure I'd have been in the Showdown. I know I would. That bike was really good, like as in similar to the Yamaha. Definitely at some
suited
tracks.
You more than BMW, didn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Well, obviously, in my rookie season at Snetterton, for example, my pace was even stronger then than what it was this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Lap times were better than this year?
Yeah, 3-4 tenths a lap on the Suzuki. I had a problem and I was last, and I caught a few people up and finished 9th, and I set my fastest lap on the last lap, and it was still quicker than what I went this year in the race 3 years ago. So the bike was obviously really good. And I do know that if I'd have stayed, then what was I going to say? I'd have been in the Showdown for sure. It's just like everyone knows, if you've only got to look at people like Taz and Jason, and obviously they both obviously stand out and very good, very exceptional riders, and they've just had consistency in the career for the last couple of seasons, and it's definitely showed. And yeah, they've obviously day in day out they're odds on to finish on the podium, aren't they? So yeah, that's all it means. It's
Taz's 5th season on the R1.
Yeah,
so it's not to be sniffed at what you're doing and where you are now, where Somebody asked me the other day, who on a different podcast, who the most underrated rider is in the championship, and I said you, because for what you're doing,
when it clicks, people will definitely realise. Yeah.
But this is what happened to Brad this year,
yeah.
And your time will come. You're still building, you're still working up to that.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to. The last thing I want now I'm in a position where I know if it carries on, I can do these good things. All you need to do is have the same people trust in you, and let's go again. Do you know what I mean? So,
how much did the team help you and make you feel at home and help Kyle Ryde be Kyle Ryde? Because I know how important that is for you.
No, they've been great. I think Paul's definitely. Obviously, Paul used to race himself and run his own little team and ride himself, and I do think he understands a lot, which is very good. I really rate Paul as the job he does, and he's great with me. He's great with me and Brad. He's very fair. That's one thing I've been telling people recently. Obviously, people from the outside, like for example, when I go to snooker, people from the outside think Brad's a golden boy, if you know what I mean, and I'm like, he's not. He's an exceptional rider. He's had 19, 20, 21 podiums, whatever it is, and I've had maybe 5. But for Paul to make both of us feel the same, it's a very hard job, and he does a very good job of it. So, yeah, this come up actually when I played snooker on Monday, and I'm like, I've just been racing all weekend. I've come here to play my snooker match. I don't want to listen to your opinions about Hickey and O'Halloran. I've come here to screw balls back and play snooker. But again, I cannot say that because I'm a nice person, and I had to give my opinion. But yeah, it definitely needs applaud. I don't know the word. Good praise. I don't know.
Needs a bit of pat on the back for what he's doing.
Back, yeah, Paul's done a very good job. Definitely this year.
The season started off in strong style for you at Silverstone and at Oulton Park. Went to Knockhill, things weren't quite where they should have been, and that sort of carried on for a couple of races. Even though you're improving across each race, you kind of set the bar high at the start of the season. What happened sort of mid-season?
It's just so, obviously, Silverstone looked like I was riding on a wave and it was easy. But when we look back at it now, the engine brake side of stuff at Silverstone was like my sister had done it, if you know what I mean. We've learned so much from then that was at the start, and obviously from riding a BMW there, not being able to do a 53 at all, to doing 53.5s non-stop, I'm never going to come in and say I've got an engine brake issue. I just rode it. And obviously when you look back on the telly, Glenn was really good at turn 1 and I was really bad, and if I had to pick a corner on that track where I was fast at, it'd be turn 1, and I wasn't very good. And when we look at it now, from what we've learned, I had no engine brake whatsoever. So I know when we go back there next time, I mean, I finished twice second and a 10th because of my arm, but if I don't finish on the podium 3 times there, I'll be surprised.
It's a circuit, it's a good marker, isn't it? Because you had great success on the Suzuki there, double win and a lap record.
Yeah. So it's a good circuit for me as well.
It's a good circuit for you as well. So that is your pure marker to say, well, look, I can do that on that.
Yeah.
So I now need to do that again on this and match your lap times or even improve on them.
That's why it makes it look like I was off like stink at the start and then I slowed down a bit. But when you think about it, it was... I mean, I've got a crew chief that I've worked with a few times in my career, Ryan, and obviously he's never been to Knockhill before with a superbike. I've never been with a Yamaha on a superbike. And we went there and the pace, as it does at every track, gets faster and faster. So the pace I was at would have probably put me on the podium last year or the year before, but this year it put me 9th and 7th or something.
Because some bespectacled big-haired lads doing some big fast time, and the McCann's boys as well.
And that's how it looks. And like at Brands, people didn't really say much of my results at Brands, but I went 7th, 5th and 5th. For me, that was a really good achievement because I know how fast Taz and Jason are at Brands. Obviously, Brad's there on a wave, and he was really strong. He got the Ducatis that are strong there, and it was easy, 7th, 5th, and 5th, and that was up there. I rode better at Brands than what I did at Silverstone, if you know what I mean. And at Silverstone, I got second. It was Silverstone's not my favourite track, but it really suits my style.
Yeah,
I've been fast there on any bike, shit tyres or new tyres. So yeah, I can understand people think it's 3 races good and then 3 races bad, but yeah, that's why I was gutted about Thruxton, because that would have showed everyone that these little tracks we've been to, like Cadwell and Knockhill, was just a bit of experience, this, that and the other, but take me back to Thruxton and I can ride anything. But unfortunately we had front tyre issues, and then when we fixed it I couldn't show everyone the pace I had because I crashed in the last race. So
I remember you coming in after talking to you after that, and you said the bike was the best it had been all week. It felt perfect.
Yeah.
Which, when you say something's perfect, it is absolutely on the nail.
Yeah.
And did you catch the engine casing?
it turned that well, yeah. It just caught me out.
Furthest you turned it all weekend,
Yeah.
and just caught you out. So that tells me that it's slowly but surely that the steps are there.
Yeah.
But because Brad's doing what he's doing, Taz and Jason are doing what they're doing, it doesn't reflect in the right way of what you're doing.
No.
And this is what maybe a lot of the fans and the listeners to the show maybe don't quite appreciate. Not through anybody's fault, but you're still learning.
Yeah, well, that's it. If we've done 8 rounds or 9 rounds, whatever it is, 4 or 5 of them has been guessing on Sunday. I've still been changing the bike on Sunday and trying to race with these boys that are like Taz and Jason. They're going off last year's settings, or they're just tweaking bits, or if it's a bit colder they might be changing the suspension a little bit. We're trying everything just to find those temps. So that's why when I go to Silverstone, because the track suits me and I really like the track and I can ride it on any bike, I can make a bike that's not ready to nearly win.
Kind of masking
masking a problem.
Any problems.
And that's the same as when we come here. And I won that race here. And now we're here now, the bike's going to be even better than what it was back then.
It certainly is.
But everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's made their bikes better. So, yeah. I just know that obviously if on average the tracks that we've struggled at is a 10th place, you go there back next year and it's a 6th without even doing anything. And that's the difference.
That's experience.
Yeah.
Because if you think, there's no doubt that when we were at Brands in the summer, that was 2 years on a superbike.
Yeah.
That was 2 seasons, because we started in the middle of June in 2020.
Yeah.
Did 6 rounds.
And that was it. And then another year.
Yeah, so it's hard to think, because people think you've been in it for a lot longer. Feels like it, working with you.
Yeah.
but when you look at your results this year as a 3rd season, it puts it into perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When, like say, Knockhill, we didn't go there in 2020. We didn't do Cadwell. You crashed, unfortunately, in testing last year. What was it, like 3 or 4 laps in?
Yeah.
And then you were injured for Snetterton with your heel, which still got 10th place in one of the races.
In one of them, yeah.
You did a good ride in that. That was determination. So to come through this season the way you have and to make the progress that you have is underrated for what you've done.
I'd got a lot of praise for Snetterton, for sure. I think that showed everyone. Obviously, I'd come off everyone wanting to interview me. Anything on Facebook or Instagram, the comments was always about Buchan catching me up, this, that and the other, and I dealt with it well. Attacked the weekend how I should have done. I didn't try anything different, or just rode my bike to my potential. And obviously I come 3rd on the Saturday, and that basically sorted the job out, didn't it? So
you did.
And that's like what I'm trying to say to people that say what happened in the first couple of in the middle part, and I'm like, well, nothing. I've not lost any confidence. Just you got to accept. I mean, Brad potentially should have won all 3 races at Oulton Park. The temperature wasn't there, his tyre didn't work, and he finished 5th. Like, the same as me. I could have won 3 races at Oulton Park if everything's right, but sometimes it ain't, and bike racing ain't.
Planets don't always align, do they?
No, you look at the weekend, I watched it back, and obviously the temperature was getting low for the last race. And obviously they didn't follow me on the TV, they was following the front group, which Brad was in. Brad's bike looked like it had a wetting, and he was on the same tyres as Lee, Tommy, everyone. They all pulled into Parc Ferme, and their tyres looked like it was 25 degrees, and Brad's was absolutely shagged.
It was, yeah.
And mine was the same, and it's just maybe just characteristics of the R1 being cold.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people I know probably think that they beat Brad fair and square in the last race, but I had the issues Brad had, and it's not nice to ride at all.
No.
So yeah, obviously
not having that confidence to tip in at somewhere like Druids, where you've got to go in once and then go in again.
Yeah,
it's not ideal.
Yeah, the back tyre was destroyed just for temperature reasons, nothing to do with setup. So, and obviously I'm glad that happened, really, for Brad's sake and mine, because obviously it's going to rain tomorrow here, so the grip's going to be low when it dries up, and the temperature's going to get to 15 degrees max. And this is another track, like an X is going to be destroyed after 5-6 laps if it ain't up to temperature. So at least it's given us a bit of a wake-up call, and yeah, I might even have to try the other tyre.
Let's see what happens on that one tomorrow. From your seat on the R1, tell me about Snetterton at the point when you were confirmed in the Showdown. I know how much that meant to you, but you just tell me now, what from your point of view, what it felt like.
It was just a bit of a relief, because it should have been done at Thruxton. Not done as in like an Instagram post saying confirmed, but enough that I've got like 80, 90 points.
Mathematically, yeah.
It was going to be impossible for anyone, because that should have been a weekend of like, I mean, those three boys at the front, I know I can do what they did. If you take me back there, I'd be sat on the back wheel and easy. But like I said, you've only got 2.5 days. No, not even that. You've got 2 practice sessions and a qualifying session, and you're racing. And if your bike ain't right, then you ain't going to be at the front.
No.
And I thought I was going to be at the front, and before I know it, I went backwards. And then we tried to fix it. I went from 12th on the grid to like 5th, and within 6 laps my tyre was doing the same thing, and I went backwards and finished 18th. Like, I didn't score any points. So yeah, to leave Thruxton with 3 points, I was absolutely gutted, because I knew Cadwell was going to be difficult. So Thruxton was my opportunity to get a good buffer. And then, as racing does, I had a tough Cadwell, even though the lap times was respectable, and the person that's in 9th gets 70 points. So for me to go home that Sunday night and switch on and do some more training and this, that and the other and not think about it, it was difficult. But like everyone knows now, I did a good job at Snet, and it was just nice to have a few people that are highly rated in the motorcycling world message me and said, look, I know a lot of people would have crumbled that weekend, and you did what you know you can do, and you stuck it on the box, which not many people could do. So it was nice to hear comments like that.
Did you feel the pressure at Snetterton, or did you just switch off?
Not after Friday. I think I was 4th on Friday, and I thought, I'm having a bit of this. And I can remember riding around on that Saturday. My back tyre the temperature was the same. It wasn't hot. The last 3 laps I was spinning the rear, and I just literally tried my bollocks off to finish 3rd, because I know it had just basically sealed the deal. And obviously it has been a while since I got a trophy as well, so obviously it was a bit of a rubbish timing with the whole thing that happened, unfortunately, at Snetterton. So obviously I didn't get to stand on the podium and stuff, but at least I got to take a trophy home in the van.
That's 5 for the season?
Yeah.
It's not
bad. Definitely could have been better, but that's obviously the same thing, experience, and when we do it next time, I'm pretty sure we can triple the amount of trophies.
There's no reason why not.
Nope.
And it all comes with experience. And how much of an influence you've got Ryan Saxelby in your corner now? You've won 2 championships with him. The 125, the youngest ever British 125cc champion, and the GP2 title in 19. How much of a calming influence is he, because he knows you so well? How does that working relationship work?
It's just like you don't look at him as a crew chief at all. I just look at him as someone that really likes my family, not just me. He likes the whole group of us, which not many people don't. We're a good bunch, but he just sees the whole picture, Ryan, and he's out not just for himself, he's out for me and my whole family. He knows how much effort Mum and Dad's put in since I was a kid, because obviously he even brought me into his team when I was 13. So, and from then onwards, Ryan's obviously helped me wherever I can. Even when I was with Suzuki and he had one crew chief, I'd go around there, say hello, and obviously he'd always want to sit down for half an hour and talk about things and see how everything was going on. So yeah, he's a very good bloke. But yeah, I spoke to him earlier actually. Unfortunately, if we do carry on for next year, I don't think I will have Ryan, because obviously his little lad's growing up and he's wanting to ride motorbikes. So as you do, he's wanting to take his little lad bike racing, so he can't commit to being my crew chief. But definitely he's done say he's never done it before anyway. He's never been a crew chief.
On a
He's run his own
superbike,
team.
yeah.
He's been absolutely amazing, and I think it's just a bit of a shame that he can't do it again, because I know that those times we've got a few podiums together, they'd have definitely tripled next year. But he's done all the donkey work for next year for sure.
What's the biggest smile you've had on your face this year? What's on track? What's caused the biggest smile for you this year?
Oh, it'd have to be winning here. Just the occasion and the amount of people that come. Like I don't know where I've put them all in my motorhome, but no, not you, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Sort that coffee machine out. I've been wanting some for about half an hour.
Yeah, he's not even turned on yet, is it? What time?
I've been in 4 times and it's not even turned on.
Quarter past 3, and
orange juice that I've had to buy.
3:15, and our fantastic hospitality girls haven't even put the coffee machine on yet. Lisa and Claire, our fantastic hospitality ladies, haven't even put the coffee machine on yet. We can have a coffee when the biggest thing to put a smile on your face this season has been Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa talking dirty to me every time I turn up on a Thursday.
I heard you got married in the Anchor Bar.
No, don't talk to me about that. Too much gin.
Yeah. How cool was that to go out there to the northwest and watch the race, regardless of what happened of an evening? Yeah. We all had a good time out there. What was that like to watch?
From everything that I remember, it was definitely a good experience. I've been to the TT, so I was expecting it to be a little bit like that, but it's completely different. It's actually more like a BSB race meeting. You're all in that little paddock, and as you know, there's a couple of corners where you're actually duffing people up. So, yeah. At least I've been. I still want to go to the Ulster, because I think that'll be a completely different.
That's on my bucket list. I'd love that to come back, to actually just go as a mass start on the fastest road race in the world. Yeah. You ever been up to Scarborough? Have you been up there?
I've been and had a look round. I've not seen a race there.
You've not seen a race there. That's different again. That's about as wide as that table.
Yeah, it's not for me.
No, it's not for everybody, is it?
My switch off is definitely Monday night's my snooker league. So.
And how's that going?
I'm 2 out of 2 at the minute, so I'm doing well.
Excellent.
I even had a 47 break on Monday in my match.
A 147?
No, a 47.
What was your? Did I see you did a 130?
108 is my best.
108. I knew you'd done 3 figures.
I've had a century 1.
That's not shabby, that is it?
It's not shabby, no.
I'm never playing you at pool or snooker because you'll absolutely rinse me.
Yeah, Dave and Brad come on Monday to watch.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, because Brad's been staying at the workshop, because obviously it's pointless him driving down to Paris where he lives. So.
He's definitely part French, isn't he? It's that far away.
Yeah.
So ahead of the weekend, home round again, full GP circuit this weekend. What's your expectations now coming into this weekend?
Yeah, I've got all my friends coming, family. I've literally just gone and paid for 52 tickets, so there's going to be a mob somewhere.
You need a podium bonus this weekend, mate.
Yeah, 52 tickets. Yeah, hopefully I get a bit of cash back for that. But yeah, I've got to take a trophy home. That's definitely the aim. Hopefully we'll get it out of the way on Saturday, and then for some more on Sunday. So the weather's not looking too bad now. At the start of the week, I was bricking it a bit.
Yeah.
Not bricking it, but it's just, I feel like it was meant to be, because we've not had a wet race yet. We've had 1 wet qualifying, and that's it. We've had a couple of practices that we've not gone out in because we didn't need to, because the weather said all right for Saturday, Sunday. And this is looking exactly the same. Tomorrow looks a bit pants in the afternoon, and
20 mil of rain apparently is coming through.
And Saturday and Sunday looks sunny. So yeah, what's the point in going out?
No point risking it.
We're still not going to have a wet race. I've probably jinxed it now, but I was trying to think about it in the car. I can't remember the last time we did.
The good thing is this isn't going out till next Friday, so the weekend will be done.
When was the last time we did a full season of BSB racing and not have to change slicks? I don't think you'll ever do it.
No.
If you was on a betting site at the start of the year, you put a tenner on it, I think you'd be a millionaire.
I think I would. Yeah, the retirement would be a lot closer than it is at the minute. That's for sure. With regards to what we've got with Brad, what is your outlook towards racing with Brad?
As in this weekend?
As in this weekend and at Brands.
I mean, what is it now, like 80-something points?
Yeah.
I mean, I said to you at the start of the last weekend, I said, I'm a team player for sure. Still, there's a mathematical chance, so I'm obviously out for myself as it starts, but as it gets closer and closer to Sunday, if the points are still around 70, 80 points, like, of course I'm going to try and help the whole team out. As you know, we're one big massive bunch, and I don't know how you're supposed to put it. Of course I'm going to help. I'm not, I don't know the word, I'm not spiteful, nothing like that.
I wasn't expecting that. I was just asking on the mindset, that's all. And
literally just, if it comes to it, put it this way, no one's going to have to ask me to drop a position or put it like that. I'm clever enough to know how the job works, and if I can help Brad in any way, if it comes to it at some point at the end of the weekend or even at Brands, then of course I'm going to help.
The one thing we haven't had as a team this year, there's only one stat we haven't had. Yeah. And if we can do that here...
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Whether it's you at the top, Brad at the top, doesn't matter. We'll take it as you at the top to get that next win. Yeah. So it's not your only win of the season. You can have another one. And then go into Brands full of confidence, which then... I'm not going to ask about next year because that's for later on. Yeah. We'll find out about that towards the end of the season and wherever at the bike shop, whatever, of what your plans are for next season. But up to the next 6 races.
Yeah, to get a 1-2, definitely.
Would be fantastic.
Yeah,
it would just cap the season off, wouldn't it? But especially for you.
Yeah.
Have another win.
Any order for me would be fine.
Hey?
Any order for me, it'd be fine.
It doesn't matter, does
Just a trophy.
It's another trophy, mate. It's another one, and then head off back to the bar on Monday night. Smiling, playing snooker.
Yeah.
And there we go. 2 questions to finish. What's your favourite corner and why?
What year?
Anywhere. Whether it's on the R6, the R1, whether it's on the GP2, which corner when across your career has given you one where you've got, I fucking love that? Because you've raced at circuits all over the world.
Yeah, I have. There's, I don't really know.
You done Phillip Island?
Done Phillip Island. That's what I was thinking about.
That's normally a for those that have had on
the Stoner corner now, don't they? I went through it on a 600, so it was really good, but it's not amazing.
It's not kind of super bike
amazing
power through there.
I don't know. I'd probably need another 5-10 minutes to think about it, but there's a lot of corners. It's not even speed. That's
what I mean. It's not about
just that. The way it works. Like McLean's here is absolutely lovely. The way it sets itself up. I mean, I crashed there at the start of the year, wrote a bike off, but
you've also stuffed it on the top right there.
Yeah.
So it works both ways, doesn't it? And then finally, what's your best hire car story?
Hire car? I've not done much in hire cars. The one that springs to mind is my dad in a little Fiat 500, and I don't know what it would have been, like 2012 maybe. Probably when cruise control first started coming out on every car. I got it all crossed up into this. It was coming into a toll, and he was on, and we was flat out back to the airport because we was late. So he was doing like 140k fast at his go. Took his foot off, pressed the cruise control, and the pedals that close together. He's gone for the brake, pressed the clutch with his right foot, and he's pressed it again. He thinks we've got no brakes, so he's panicked. He's ripped the handbrake up at 140k, and we're spinning in circles into this toll in a little Fiat 500, and we stopped about, I don't know, 10 metres from it in the wall, and he looked at me and he's like, fucking cruise control. And when you think about it now, I know exactly what he was doing. Like the pedals, you could literally fit your finger in between both three because it was that small.
Yeah.
And he's got wide feet. He's definitely been pressing the clutch by accident. So that's the only one I can think of.
No, that'll do, mate. That's a cracker of a one. Well, Kyle, thanks for joining us, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure to work with you this season, and it's a real pleasure to have you on the show. It's been a while since we did it, so thank you very much.
No worries.
All the very best for this weekend and for Brands, and let's see where the next 6 races take us.
See you later.
A big thank you to Kyle Ryde for his time, and on Friday we have his teammate Brad Ray on the show, also recorded on the Thursday afternoon at Donington Park, but released on the Friday of his potential championship winning weekend. On to more important things. Do you know what? Chrissy was an incredible fella. I don't know anybody who worked harder than he did to live his dream. I remember his first message back in late 2018 asking about starting a podcast, what he needs, how to go about it. Little did we know then about the monster both he and Dom would create, along with the invaluable help of Chrissy's sister Grace. When he introduced the Patreon page, I signed up for a £10 a month because every little helps. and it was all going towards his podcast kit and his racing, and I wanted to support him because he deserved it. I was and remain proud to play a very small part in his podcast career. After starting off track in the lockdown of 2020, Chrissy was nothing but supportive in our venture. And as it's slowly grown over the years, we've always spurred each other on. No rivalry, no treading on toes. Well, there was this one time when I delayed a Connor Cummins chat by a couple of weeks. But in the meantime, Chrissy and Dom had the big fella in the trailer and put it out on the following Monday. The same week, I planned to put my chat with Connor out. We laughed about it, and since then we've managed to dance our way around the paddock with nothing but mutual respect and support. We've got great memories of Chrissy. I'll always remember the day he called into Barrowford to see Jen and I for a brew with his great mate Kev after an enduro down somewhere south of Burnley. Between you and me, it wasn't allowed at the time, but we sat outside for an hour in the sunshine and just chewed the fat. I remember the waving on the slowdown lap at Oulton Park as he went past. He only saw us at the last minute and nearly wrenched his neck to wave to Jen and I as we stood up on the top. I remember the chats in the studio, the messages of support for each other. Just such a great fella. And as you've no doubt seen from the outpouring of love for him, everybody thought the same. He really was a lovely, lovely lad. A tough competitor on the track and a complete gentleman off it. He'll be missed by the whole paddock. And one of the great regrets of this week is I didn't get to tell him of the plans we're working on in the background for this show and for off-track in general. But what his loss has done is reinforce my desire to make this podcast the very best it can be, because I know full well he would have supported us completely. Above all, and like so many others, Chrissy was a great mate. Always a smile, always the wink as he was passing down pit lane, but rarely did he pass on the scooter without stopping to say hello, to ask about me, about my girls and the podcast. Chrissy inspired me. It's amazing what you can achieve with hard work and desire for what you do. He was the epitome of that, and he will continue to inspire me in everything we do. It still doesn't feel real. The fact I'm sat here talking about my fellow podcast OG in the past tense, but here we are. We can't change it, and we deal with the cards we're given. We love that fella, and we'll continue to do so, and everything we do going forward will be with him in mind. Once again, our sincere sympathies to Chrissy's family, friends, team, and supporters across the world. Cheers, Chrissy. Rest well, mate.